So when a song is created, you need many things. You need a great melody, a great lyrics, and a great purpose to your song. But when James Taylor's Fire and Rain came out, it encompassed a lot more than that. It encompassed kind of the death of the hippie era because there was a lot of references to loss. And not talking loss of like an older person or a grandparent, but the loss of what they hope for their society. Now, today in Bind the Tracks, we're going to be looking at Fire and Rain. And it's hard to believe, ladies and gentlemen, 55 years ago. Now, this was a song written and performed by James Taylor. At the time, he was sort of like being promoted by Apple, the Beatles label. It was released in 1970, but not by Apple, but by Warner's as the second single from Taylor's second studio album, Sweet Baby James. The song follows Taylor's reaction to the suicide of Suzanne Schnurr, a childhood friend, and his experiences with drug addiction and fame. After its release, Fire and Rain peaked at number 2 in RPM's Canada Top Singles chart and number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. And you're wondering why we did a chart higher in Canada is because the Quebec FM and AM was playing it a lot, like James Taylor was very popular. Ironically, it was produced by Paul McCartney's former common-law brother-in-law, Peter Asher, who was, of course, James' brother. Now, 3 minutes and 20 seconds under the folk rock, soft rock category at Sunset Sound, December 69. Now, in the VH1 Storyteller series, he said the chanson was about several incidents during his early recording career. The second line, Suzanne, the plans he made put an end to you, refers to Suzanne Schnurr, a childhood friend of his who died by suicide while he was in London recording his first album. In that same account, Taylor said he had deep depression after failure of his new band, The Flying Machine, to coalesce the lyric Flying Dreams and Sweet Dreams of Flying Machines and Pieces Underground. The reference is to the name of the band rather than a fatal plane crash that was long rumored. Taylor completed writing the song while in rehab. Now, during an interview on NPR in 2005, he explained to host Scott Simon that the song was written in 3 parts. The first part was about Schnurr, who died while Taylor was in London working on the first album after being signed to Apple. Friends at home, concerned that it might distract Taylor from his big break, kept the news from him, and he found out 6 months later. The second one details Taylor's struggle to overcome drug addiction and depression. The third part deals with coming to grips with fame and fortune, looking back at the road that got him there. Again, includes a reference to The Flying Machine, a band he previously worked with before his big break with Paul McCartney, Peter Asher, and Apple Records. Now, Carole King played piano on the song. The great drummer Ross Kunkel, one of the best session drummers of all time, used brushes rather than sticks on the drum kit, and Bobby West played double bass in place of a bass guitar to underscore the melancholy of the song. Now, Record World said the release of Taylor's version as a single after several cover versions had been released was bound to come along. With so many versions out there, it's no reason the excellent original would not be the one. Cashbox similarly referred to Taylor releasing it as a single, saying now the 4th or 5th to release it his own Fire and Rain. Taylor may have found his sought-after single hit the hard way. The original comes in the wake of R.B. Greaves' sales and Johnny Rivers' current treatment, not the million BS&T's album track getting further notice. Billboard described it as a pointed ballad. Now, Broadcast Music ranked Fire and Rain as number 82 in its top 100 songs of the century lists, while voters for the National Endowment for the Arts and Recording Industry Associated America's Songs of the Century list, which comprised 365 songs of historical significance, recorded from 1900 to 2000, placed Fire and Rain at number 85. Now, in my interpretation, it comes across as a hippie that's had a bad trip, using some of the lingo, and he's come to realization that a lot of things he's wanted for himself and other people either have had problems, are problems, or will be problems. Now, in April 2011, the song was named as number 227 on the Rolling Stones list of the 500 greatest. And in 2021, in retrospect, it moved it up to 146. In 98, the 1970 recording of Fire and Rain by James Taylor and Warner Brothers Records was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. I think, ladies and gentlemen, the song speaks for itself. I'm not going to go over the lyrics. Now, 3 or 4 versions of the song has charted. Now, the James Taylor version came out in 1970, number 6 in Australia. The top 2 in Canada, UK singles, 42. Adult Contemporary US number 7. Billboard number 3 and Cashbox number 4. Year-end charts, Australia 87, Canada 26. And this was the time of the Guess Who and all the great Canadian bands were coming up, 1970. Billboard Hot 100 67, Cashbox 85. Now the R.B. Greaves version, U.S. Adult Contemporary 37, Billboard Hot 100 82, Cashbox Top 100 65, Australia number 82 and Canada RPM 474. The Johnny Rivers version, again 1970. This was three songs, two versions that charted that year. Johnny Rivers number 94 Hot 100 and 71 Cashbox. UK was certified gold. On the charts in 1975, the Marsha Hines version, number 17 in Australia. And Willie Nelson, the 1976 version, on the country charts in Canada, number 44, and US number 29. So, I mean, James Taylor, Carole King, all the great songwriters of that era. And Mary Hopkins, James Taylor, Badfinger, Apple was putting out and supporting different groups. But it's so funny, Peter Asher, a very cerebral producer. I hope you take this right away, I think George Martin would have given it more a Beatles feel, but it's basically an acoustic guitar and a Carol on the piano, and it's a very stripped down song. Now, Neil Young could never sing the song, only James Taylor. Because James Taylor comes across as a person who's a kind individual, who just got caught up on the periphery of the hippie era and sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But it's considered by some a Christian song. Look down upon me, Jesus, help me make a stand. So, I mean, there's different interpretations here because fire and rain could be referred to the fire of hell and the calming and beautiful rain of the earth or heaven. So it's all a matter of perspective. Now, James Taylor's in a quiet taste. There's a lot of people through the years I've found him a little bit triacal, and some even say opportunistic because he and his brother would have been better served. See, that's why I don't understand. His brother was a very good performer, and to not rely on him more for the time he went through, and he became more tabloid fodder because of his relationship with Carly Simon. And You're So Vain is about James Taylor. I don't think it is. I think it's about Mick Jagger or Warren Beatty. But, it all works together. So Fire and Rain still remains a hippie song. Maybe one of the first hippie rock songs that wasn't rock and roll. That makes any sense. So thank you for listening Behind the Tracks. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, Edmonton's had 1-0. Go, I don't think Edmonton is Canada's team, but for now, we'll say they're at least Alberta's team because they have 2 teams in Alberta. So please watch the game. Let me know. Any comments or requests, please do so. Give us a like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Behind the Tracks, I'm trying to reflect our age group, the people over 45. Because we had the best music in the world from 1955 to about 1985. Look what happened to the lead singer of a-ha coming out with Parkinson's. That hit a lot of people hard today. So anyway, thanks for listening and keep your stick in the ice. Bye.